Your phone dies, no signal, and you need to get a message 100 miles away. Right now, today, with all our technology, you would be stuck. 300 years ago, in the middle of a rainforest, that took an hour. No wires, no writing, no horses. And it worked at night, and in the rain. Meanwhile, the Roman Empire. Roads, horses, bureaucracy, the whole thing. It had a messaging system so bad that Julius Caesar kept beating his own mail. This is how people sent messages before writing existed. And some of it makes your group chat look slow. First, appreciate how brutal this problem actually is. You need to tell someone something. They are a 2-day walk away. You cannot write. Writing has not been invented, or nobody around you reads. So, option 1, yell, which fails immediately. The human voice gives out after a couple hundred yards. That is it. 200 yards. Option 2, send a guy, and people did this constantly. But a guy is slow. A guy gets tired. A guy gets lost. A guy forgets the message. A guy occasionally dies. Every ancient culture ran into the exact same wall. How do you move information faster than a human body can carry it? And the answer humans landed on over and over is genuinely clever. Do not move the person, move the sound or the light. Simplest version, set something on fire and let people see it. Smoke signals show up all over the world, independently. The Greeks used them. The Chinese used them along the Great Wall. Apache in the American desert. Inca in the Andes. Put fires on hilltops in a chain, and information moves at the speed of sight. Which is, technically, the speed of light. Sort of. But smoke has problems, big ones. It does not work in fog, or rain, or wind, or forest. It does not work if nobody happens to be looking that direction. And the message is basically one bit. Something is happening. One bit. It is a notification with no text. It is an ancient unread badge. Useful. But you cannot have a conversation with a bonfire. Which brings us to the best solution anyone ever invented. In West and Central Africa, in dense rainforest where smoke is useless, people built a messaging system out of sound. And here is the part that blows my mind. Talking drums are not a code. They are not Morse. Not Morse code. They do not stand for letters. They imitate speech directly. Because many African languages are tonal, meaning the pitch of a syllable changes what the word means. Same sound, higher note, completely different word. So the drum copies the tones, the rhythm, the melody of the sentence. You are literally hearing someone talk, just on a drum. But there is a problem, and the solution is genuinely beautiful. Drumming only the tones loses information. It gets ambiguous. Lots of different words share the same tone pattern. So drummers do not drum single words. They drum whole poetic phrases. Instead of moon, you drum a longer traditional phrase that means moon. The extra length kills the ambiguity. Context does the rest. That is error correction, built by ear centuries before information theory. Error correction, which means drum language is not primitive. It is poetry as protocol. Now here is where it stops being charming and starts being intimidating. One village drums a message. The next village hears it and immediately drums it onward. Then the next. Then the next. A message could cross about 100 miles in roughly an hour. 100 miles in 1 hour, which, at the time, was faster than any messenger on Earth. Faster than the best horse, on the best road, with fresh relays. This is why European explorers kept getting spooked. They would walk into a village that already knew who they were, how many of them there were, what they were after. And the Europeans could not work out how, because they had been listening to the answer the entire time. They just assumed it was music, some pleasant background noise. There is an entire rainforest running a group chat, and they wrote in their diaries that the locals sure love rhythm. It took them centuries to work out that they were being live tweeted. Now, for the funniest part of this whole story. Compare that to the most organized empire in the ancient world. Rome had paved roads, relay stations, professional couriers, horses, and it still crawled because it moved information by moving bodies. Roman historians noted that Julius Caesar had a recurring habit. He very often arrived somewhere before the messengers that he had sent ahead to announce that he was coming. Imagine sending a text and physically arriving before it delivers. That was the Roman Empire. That was state-of-the-art. Rome had the best roads in the world, and a rainforest was faster. But my favorite system belongs to the Inca. Their empire had no writing, no wheels, no horses. No writing, no wheels, no horses. It stretched thousands of miles across the worst terrain on the planet. So they ran it, literally. Messengers called chasqui, stationed in huts every mile and a half. Positioned high up, always within sight of each other. The waiting runner watched the road constantly. The incoming runner blew a conch shell as soon as he was in sight. So the next guy was already moving before the handoff even happened. They repeated the message back and forth until it was perfect. That is a verification step. In a relay race, up a mountain. The result: a message could travel 190 miles in a single day. 190 miles a day. Over the Andes, on foot, beating horses. The Inca ran one of history's great empires on sandals and a shell. So here is what gets me about all of this. We think of connection as a technology problem we solved recently. But humans never accepted the distance. Not once, not anywhere. If you could not shout across it, you drummed across it. If you could not drum, you burned something on a hill. If none of that worked, you ran. And then you ran faster. We built empires out of sandals, seashells, and rhythm. Your phone is amazing, but it is not the first wireless network. It is just the first one that needs charging. If you love the history nobody teaches, this is your channel. Subscribe to Fiuzaverse. We have got a lot more where this came from.